Hi guys, and welcome to Everything Hair. As you already know, we love talking about all things hair, and today's video is going to be quite different from our normal videos. We sent out questionnaires to you guys to ask you about whatever questions you had about hair, and trust me, you guys came with your A game, and trust us to come back with hair tips, hair information, and hair inspiration for you. We had a couple of questions from you, and we also had a couple of dilemmas on a thread, and we're going to be answering those questions. Our first question is it better to cut my natural hair in its natural state, blow dried, or silk pressed? I've seen different opinions on this topic. One person said cut it in its natural state if you wear your hair basically in the same hairstyle most of the time. Okay. Cutting your hair in its natural state allows the hairstylist to really see the texture and curl pattern of your hair. It's advisable for you to cut your hair in its natural state if that's how you normally wear your hair. If you're someone that is always rocking natural hairstyles, you already know what your natural features are. So cutting your natural hair in its natural state is helpful for creating a cut that complements your natural features. However, if you want a clean, even cut, you can use medium heat to just stretch your hair before a trim. You don't necessarily need a silk press to have a clean cut. You just need to stretch your hair with a blow dryer, and that will enable you to have a clean, even cut. This method can be a little bit time consuming because it involves you doing a full blowout. And you'll also need to be careful to not damage your hair with heat. So you might need a heat protecting serum or spray before you start the process of blowing out your hair. Next question. What can I possibly do to grow my edges? All of a sudden, I noticed the length shortened, and I don't even lay my edges that often. I barely make tight hairstyles. Okay, our answer for you is basically, our question to you will be, why are your edges breaking? And there are a whole lot of factors why your edges might not be growing. Number one is genetics. Number two is breakage. And number three can be underlying medical conditions. So with genetics, the manner in which your hair grows is largely based on how your DNA is wired, and there's not much you can do about that. But there are also a lot of things that lead to your edges not growing the way they should. First of all is vitamin deficiencies. You already said you don't lay your edges with harmful products or anything, and you also don't make tight hairstyles. Vitamin deficiencies or hormonal changes can lead to thinning around your hairline. Your hairline can also be thinning based on breakage. You said you don't do tight hairstyles, so that's likely not the cause for you. You may be able to get your edges back. The steps for growing your edges are not fast, so you have to be patient. You have to maintain high moisture levels, so make sure that you're putting products that would retain the moisture around your edges, that will help to minimize breakage, and also make sure that you're making proper protective styles. You might be thinking that your hairstyles are not tight, but make sure that you're doing hairstyles that are not tugging on the root of your hair, because that's one of the most sensitive parts of your hair. Your regimens and your techniques also cater to new growth, like making sure that you're properly detangling your hair, trimming the ends, maintaining moisture levels, using products that are not harmful to your hair, and also making sure that you're properly protective styling your hair, or you're doing styles that will retain length. It's also important for you to understand the state of your hair health, and whatever habits it is that you might think are contributing to this breakage, you should avoid them. Our next question is, how do you keep your leave out straight/flat? I wrap my hair with a scarf every night before putting on a bonnet, but there's always a bump at the roots, so I end up using heat every morning. Sew-ins are back and they're here to stay, but there are also a lot of things that can go wrong when you have leave out in your sewing. Since sew-ins allow a portion of your hair to be exposed to the elements, a lot of things can go wrong without the proper hair care. For starters, consistently using hot tools to style your hair can lead to breakage down the road. It can also lead to thinning, and you find out that the part of your hair that you leave out is way more fragile than the rest of your hair. Product buildup and greasy strands can become your new normal. It's important for you to nail down the right tips for keeping your leave out in good condition. Number one is to prep your strands the right way. So washing your hair, using a hair treatment, deep conditioning your hair before you start the sewing is very important. Also, wrap your hair at night. And if you find out that you sweat through the night, make sure that that sweat is dried out with the wrap on. So before you take it out, don't take it out when you can still feel the dampness of the sweat on your scalp, if you get what I mean. Next, you have to choose bundles that match your hair texture. So you don't want to use heat all the time. If you know that you are relaxed, make sure that you're using a yaki texture bundle instead of a bone straight. Also make sure that you're using an anti-freeze serum. So if you use an anti-freeze serum, it helps to slick down your leave out and not make it as frizzy. As I said before, make sure that you're wrapping your hair at night. In this way, you'll be helping to maintain the straightness and you prevent it from becoming frizzy. You use a silk or satin scarf to wrap your hair. Our last question for today is advice on growing 4C hair. It seems like my hair gets to a certain length and just stops. It's also uneven, 3 inches in the front and 4 to 5 inches at the back. I want to be able to grow it long enough for twists, but it just wouldn't grow, and I haven't cut it in a couple of years. I've been trying biotin, castor oil, minoxidil, etc. over the past couple of months, and nothing seems to be working. I wash my hair twice a week and moisturize once during the day and once before bed with scalp oil and conditioner. Not sure if using a bonnet is helping because every time I wake up, my hair is extremely flattened. Any tips on getting proper growth? One thing that you should always know is that if you don't have an underlying health condition, you need to know that your hair never stops growing. The problem here sounds like you have a length retention problem. The products you use are definitely not a problem, but washing your hair twice in a week is the stretch because hydro fatigue makes your hair weak and dries it out, which leads to breakage. We've learned a little bit about hydro fatigue, and if you want to learn more, I'll leave it linked in the description box below. So make sure that you keep wearing your bonnet and your hair is not just going to magically grow 5 inches over 2 months. It's not possible. Hair grows, but it happens really slowly. So make sure that you're not discouraged if you don't see any growth in 1 or 2 months. Make sure that you keep your routine, and as time goes on, you will find that your hair is growing. Slowly but surely you will get there. Length retention is a gradual process, so be patient and consistent with your hair routine, and over time you will see the results of your hard work. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comment section and let's have a conversation. Thank you guys again for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.